Day 2 of this event, Tourism Good Practices, is dedicated to sharing industry's best practices, covering topics from destination management to culture and marketing. It's a unique opportunity to learn from successes and mistakes, engage in global discussions, and explore potential partnerships on your sustainability journey. I now have the pleasure of inviting Rob Holmes on this stage. Rob is the founder and chief strategist for GLP Films. And who doesn't know about them? With 30 and more years of experience in the sustainable tourism industry, Rob has spearheaded global strategic marketing campaigns for top-tier destinations, media, brands, and operators. I'm excited to announce that Green Destinations will collaborate again with GLP Films for the Green Destinations Story Awards 2024 at ITB Berlin as a strategic media partner. So he'll be among the jury selecting the best stories, but he'll also look into which of the finalists actually offer the most promising opportunities for a video production that Rob and his team will make for us. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Albert. You know, having been in the tourism industry a long time now, I think what I look at is our responsibility. So if you're a destination, you've heard a lot of destinations speaking just yesterday and you will today. What are destination responsibilities? Engaging all stakeholders in the industry, rising up, bringing everyone together, making sure everyone has a voice and a seat at the table, all parties, all stakeholders. If you're an operator, what's your responsibility? Providing that unique, authentic experience that no one else can provide, and making sure that experience has a positive impact on the local community. And then if you're a traveler, what is the traveler's responsibility? Leave no trace, have a positive impact, get involved through regenerative experiences. So again, we all have that responsibility, and I think we've really enjoyed working with Albert and the team at Green Destinations on the stories. Our responsibility is to tell great stories, and I think our team kind of wants to go one step, tell award-winning stories, because that for us is getting that industry recognition, appreciation, saying, nice job. And for us, that's impact. That's ultimately the impact that we can have on tourism and helping tourism be a force for good, which is what we're all here for. That's where we want to go. That's where we want the industry to go. So as Albert said, we're really excited to get involved with the Story Awards for next year at ITB Berlin and hope to see many of you there. So a quick snapshot of myself. Here the wife and the 3 kids back home. And I like to show just a little snapshot of my background because I have a different background. I got into film and content and marketing with an undergraduate degree in wildlife management. Who would have thought that? I mean, very different path. Was a photographer, got into film and video and then directing. But now I think what's really important for me is that having that different lens, that different perspective when looking at tourism, when again, looking at the responsibility and accountability we have as a team on the industry. So quickly, who's GLP? We're a content marketing agency. We really focus. We're very well known for our storytelling, for the content communications work that we do. But our number one focus is helping destinations that are really honestly committed to sustainability, to regenerative, to stewardship, to conservation, to really become leaders in their respective region and then globally. We even have sustainability in our mission. It really gets down to the core. What's driving us? What's important at the end of the day? And that's really important for us, is making sure we're making that positive impact and driving and not doing it alone and bringing others along with us on this journey. So I'm just going to show a couple. I don't have that much time. I wanted to show just a couple short videos. This is a brand new one we just produced. And in celebrating our 15 years of work, we actually had a global competition for the best story. And we were really excited to get outside of tourism. So this is a story in Sierra Gorda, Mexico, and it's looking at carbon offsets, a very grassroots carbon offsets approach. Has nothing to do with tourism. There is a tourism component there, but honestly, the story wasn't strong enough, so we really decided to focus on the community impact that this organization is doing. Very well known, been around for decades, and Patty and her inspiration, which you'll see. But for us, it was just a really inspiring story on seeing how carbon offsets, such a complex target. You look at, just with climate change and adaptation and everything that's going on, that a very grassroots approach in lifting local communities are getting paid money to protect their land. And it's all community-led, community-driven, and benefiting local communities. So enjoy this first short story on Sierra Gorda.
Con esta situación actual de nuestro planeta, es difícil mantenerse entusiasta. Pero tengo mucha fe y mucho entusiasmo porque creo que en estos momentos de crisis tan cerrados es cuando los mejores seres humanos pueden emerger.
Considero que somos criaturas de la Tierra. La vida moderna nos ha desligado y plastificado que pues pareciera que no fuéramos tal, no lo entendemos como tal, ¿no?
Tenemos emisiones de gases de efecto invernadero importantes que mitigar.
Si quitamos la presión humana, la naturaleza, a pesar de todo, aún tiene la capacidad de sanarse a sí misma.
Estoy segura que de esta crisis han de surgir mejores seres humanos que dejen sus egoístas universos y compartamos esta abundancia.
The full film itself is 10 minutes, and it really goes into the work and effort, the on-the-ground work that Sierra Gorda has been doing for decades. And it's really just an inspiring story, just looking at the importance of local, Albert just mentioned SMEs, just the importance of local, small organizations and individuals can benefit in these efforts. So I'm just going to show, again, due to time, I'm just going to pull up a handful of different slides from different presentations that I've done just to talk about different issues. So here, this quote, with over 100,000 digital words consumed every day, 92% of consumers want brands to tell stories with those words. Essentially what that's saying, stop selling. Stop pushing things in front of me. We're all on social media. We all see those ads. What do you engage with the most? It's that unique story of family, friends, something going on in the industry that's different, that's unique. And it's typically a story. It's an experience. And that's really, the power of storytelling is that emotional response we have when we see a story, when we engage in a story. And that's what travelers want. That's what we want. We're all travelers. Because you want that unique, authentic experience that you're going to come home and take home. And that's where stories can play such an important role in shifting the narrative and educating people and inspiring people. So the lens that we look at is content or storytelling is such an important vehicle when you look at change, when you look at inspiration, etc. And it's really driving all these other components, or it has the opportunity to drive them. And so ultimately, when you look at tourism has changed, pandemic obviously has flipped everything upside down. Travelers are changing. I don't think all travelers have changed, but the momentum is definitely shifting. The stats are there. Destinations have to change. A lot of you know that, and you're working on it, and it's a journey. It takes time. So I think this is where you can see where can stories, where can content that you're producing can give people that authentic experience that they're trying to have in a destination before they've even gone, while they're in the planning stage. I think we've seen the 3 Ps for so long. It goes back to responsible tourism, ecotourism, goes way back. How does it benefit all the different core stakeholders? If you look at the local community, the people, and the environment. And then how can content play an important role in that? How can it really expand it and make it more than just the 3 Ps? But I will say, I think the big shift that we've seen overwhelmingly, and this is really with the onset of overtourism, is this shift to destination management, where destinations are seeing, okay, we can't just market, heads and beds, volume, volume, volume. We've seen that. That's definitely the mass tourism approach. Sure, there are certain destinations that are still doing it. That's fine. But I think a lot of the leaders are really seeing this shift of we have to look at all stakeholders. We have to change what are the metrics to success. People, just go back before COVID, people weren't thinking about local communities and the livability in a destination. They were thinking volume. They were thinking, we want to get as many people as we can to this destination because I've got goals, I've got targets, I've got businesses are relying, we have taxes we need to generate. Again, understandably. But the metrics have changed. What is success? That is such a wonderful change that's happened in tourism, and I think we're all part of that. But ultimately, having that plan, that roadmap that's going to bring all stakeholders involved, make everyone on the same path, going in together, this holistic approach, being more transparent and supporting all the stakeholders involved. And then lastly, how do you communicate that? That's sometimes, I think, the most exciting part. Granted, we're biased because we are so focused on content. But that's where you can communicate your sustainability initiative, your stewardship platform, your new regenerative experiences that you're providing, never had before. So again, this shift is really so important. And again, just pulling a couple slides, you look at the elements of stories. I'll talk about it more this afternoon in our panel, so I'll have some different slides here. But who should be telling your story? When you say, okay, we have some content, we have some experiences we want to get out there. Well, local, I will say, so important. That's what we did with Sierra Gorda. We were trying to identify who the key characters were and really looking at the local community and getting people. What you just saw was just a quick trailer. But making sure you get the on-the-ground people. Most of the time when we tell a story, we're working with guides. Why? Guides are the people that are on the front line. They're doing the work because they love their destination, the experience they provide travelers. They're not doing it for the money. They're doing it for the hands-on experience that they have. And I'll show you a film just now on how guides are so passionate. And we don't necessarily want to talk to the owner, the CEO, because they have a different perspective. We want someone that's, again, getting their hands dirty, so to speak. Representation, so important now. So much has changed. You look at accessibility, you look at DEI, diversity, inclusion, so much now. It's so much more open and holistic, which is so great. But make sure those voices are there, because that's what a traveler is going to want. They're going to need to relate to the content that you're sharing with them, to feel like, okay, I can go there because they're my people. Or that's an experience I want to have because it's including me. And ultimately, though, you do have to look at how are people traveling now? Smaller groups, more remote destinations. So again, things have changed. But ultimately, that point I said earlier, don't sell. I know it's hard. I know there's sales goals, there's marketing goals. Just tell that unique, authentic story. Admit your faults. Some of the best stories we've ever told are the ones where people break down and say, okay, I've struggled with this. This has been really hard. That's what people want to see. Those are the inspiring stories that we like. So the next story, speaking of guides, this is just a fun, kind of fast-paced story just on the Azores, Portugal. We are on two islands, São Jorge and Pico, looking at the adventure. I'll show another film this afternoon on the wine and food industry. But this one really, you get that energy, you get that excitement from local guides. Again, they're the ones who are telling the stories. We were there for about 6 days. Actually, no, 7 days. We lost 1 day due to weather. Definitely have to plan for the weather in the Azores. Planes couldn't fly. We were just standing there waiting. But had a great time there, just really trying to experience as much as we could during that short little moment of probably one of the most authentic destinations I've ever been in São Jorge and Pico. So enjoy. So just to wrap some points up, again, we'll have a great panel this afternoon, so please feel free to join. I'll get into a little more detail than what I've quickly shown you here. But just to wrap up, destination management, it's crucial. If you're a destination, it has to be a fundamental part of the work you're doing, no question now. Yes, marketing is important, but better marketing when you're factoring in all the stakeholders in your industry. Travelers want that sustainable, authentic experience. They do. The trend is shift. That's why we're all here. We all know that. I'm preaching to the choir, so to speak. But that's really probably one of the most exciting parts is this shift. Content, stories, consider it, look at it. It's really a great way to communicate your sustainability. Even when we were doing some of that work in the Azores, we had a couple quotes of people talking about sustainability. And the film I'll show this afternoon, no one mentions sustainability. Why? Because they're doing it. They're just doing the old ways, the old methods, and the story really does a nice job of weaving together just their authentic approach to taking care of the land that they call home. But there was no mention of sustainability, regenerative, stewardship, and that's okay. And I think that was a good lesson, actually, with the ministry, because they were looking for, well, we want people talking about sustainability. It's like, well, you don't have to talk about it. Just show what you're doing. And that's what viewers want to see. It's authentic. It's real. It's not a script. So, on that note, tell those authentic stories. You know, that's what's unique. Be bold. Be different. You see so much out there now. It's really cool to see how, if you look at social, you look at TikTok, you look how content is being shared now. There's so much raw content, and it's really engaging. It's really fun to see how people are presenting their stories. Ultimately, though, you have to look at all the stakeholders. Bring everyone with you. Don't just go in alone. Break down those silos. That's such an important part of the industry now. Work together, collaborate. You know this. Because that collaboration just brings so much. And ultimately, I've said this many times, just be transparent. Help the industry, work with others, all come together with that same vision and goals that we all have lined up and on our walls in the office and reminding us constantly in meetings. But ultimately, it is kind of the approach that we all should have. So thank you, and hope to see you later this afternoon.